I'm Nancy Newhart, the curator here at the Allegheny Highlands Arts and Crafts Center in Clifton Forge, Virginia. And I'm here with artist Brett LaGue, who's one of our 2 exhibiting artists coming up. This is Brett LaGue from Fincastle, Virginia. Wave or signify, Brett.
I'm here.
Brett, tell me a little bit. I know you do a lot of plein air painting, which means...
Yeah, I paint on location,
Okay.
essentially.
Okay. And in all kinds of weather, because I've seen pictures of you out in...
Well, you know, the atmosphere is important, so you don't want it to always be sunny or always be cloudy, you know, so
Okay.
you just have to take a mix.
And so since we're here in Clifton Forge, you've done this really interesting shot that I'd like to talk about probably
Okay,
first.
that's fine.
So tell us where you did it.
Okay, well, it's down at the corner by the traffic light. When you first come into town, there's a road up into the cemetery. And so if you go up and then kind of come to the very end and look down, that's what you see.
Okay, so this is
And
the
light was
Baptist
just so
church.
interesting, like right here. Yeah, that's the church right on the corner. Traffic light is right
Okay.
there.
And what you were saying, what you liked was the light?
Yeah, well, you know, this little house was kind of right in the middle of these big buildings, and the light was just, you know, it just was lit up in the back there. I just thought it was kind of fascinating.
Okay, so that's the old West School.
Yeah, it was a school.
And then, I don't know if you've ever been there, but the house that what spot, when I saw it, the first thing I noticed was the house with the green roof.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the prettiest houses in town.
It's a neat house, yeah.
You know, Clifton Forge is just full of interesting
Oh, I
alleyways
know.
and byways, and so I've seen you here painting many times before, whether it was
It's
the
a good
street
place
lamp
to
flowers.
paint. There's a little of everything.
It is.
You
it
got the
is.
water, you got the trains, you know.
So where else? So where else? Well, what else will we see in your exhibit? Are they all townscapes or?
It's kind of a mix. Most of the things are countryside. I don't know. I've always been a big hiker, wandering fields and that kind of thing. So it just seems more natural to me.
Okay.
But a lot of them are regional. But you know, like there's one large painting that's from Annapolis.
Okay.
It's like right on the water,
Ooh,
which is nice.
yeah.
But most of them are from around here because I try and paint pretty much every day.
Every day.
Yeah, something
That's impressive.
somewhere.
That's impressive. Well, I know we've laughed about the fact that as you come up 220 where there's construction, you've even sort of taken advantage of those multiple traffic stops.
Well, what else are you gonna do? You know, you look around and there's always something to see. That's the thing about when you paint outside. The more you look, the more you see, and the more you see, the more there is to paint. So it's like a never-ending cycle,
That's great.
which is
And
kind of neat. So
and
you just
it
appreciate the world more because you really look at it more closely.
how'd you get started painting?
I've just always painted since I was a kid. You know, it's like, well, I would draw, and then when I got a little older, I started painting. But
Right.
I don't know. I just love it. It's just an excuse to be outside and play. You know.
So where are you from originally?
Indiana,
Indiana?
and I grew up in Florida, so it's
And-
kind of a wide
Well, you went to school in Florida too.
Yeah, I
you
did.
went to the
Ringling, yeah, in
which is
Sarasota.
a wonderful school.
It's
Yeah,
well, it's changed a lot since I was there.
Well, it can only have gotten better because now you're an alum, right?
Oh, exactly. I don't think they cared much about my being there at the time.
Hi, we're back with Allegheny Highlands Arts and Crafts Center, and this is Elaine Fleck, who's the other artist whose work is going to be showing for the next month. Her exhibit is called Intimate Narratives. And Elaine, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you do these first?
Well, these are made with fabric and oils, so it's hard for people to discern what is paint and what is fabric, but these are tiny pieces of fabric. Oftentimes I use a red base and then I build up the colors over it.
Okay, so they're all that's attached to a canvas underneath.
Yes, yes. I don't know how many different pieces of fabric in this particular one, but sometimes I could have 5 to 10 different prints.
Wow. Well, it seems to me that they're all, somewhere in the neighborhood of the size of a quarter, which in itself, to cover that amount of space, is staggering. But then you go back in with either oils or acrylics and paint?
Yeah, mainly anymore it's oils. I painted for about 20 years in acrylics and then switched to oils. I find oils are much richer.
Okay. And what led to this? I mean, what led to this strange and uniquely your...
Yeah, well, when I was 17, I won a Ladies' Home Journal needlepoint contest nationwide. Yes, it's funny to think about.
Oh my gosh.
But really, I want the quilters and the people who work with fabric to know that is the basis to all these paintings. I was one of these people who loved fabric from an early age, and I do still work with my hands on working with fabric, stitching. So all of these, the basis to all these paintings were once hand stitched.
Wow.
And then, I don't know, in my 20s, I decided to experiment, and I made the transformation into the canvas and just working with paint with it.
So you're sort of working with a fabric mosaic, which you then resurface with paint.
Correct.
That
is a good way to put it.
Where'd you grow up?
I am a military brat.
So everywhere?
Everywhere. So that has a big influence on my paintings, because sometimes the subject matter can be on the exotic side.
I like your exotic side. I think Bird Bride is one of my favorites.
Bird Bride is, yeah.
We'll see that later. Did you go to school for this?
Yeah, I'm a graduate of VCU.
Okay.
Bachelor of Fine Arts in Painting and Printmaking, but I had further art training in San Francisco.
Okay. And so, because I know people are going to ask me, and I know the answer is probably from 17 until now, how long does it take you to figure out how to do one of these?
How long does it take me to figure out?
I mean, how long does it take to... I would think that these are very time intensive.
Well, anymore, I don't layer the fabric down as intensively as I used to. There's more space now with paint.
Okay.
I used to layer the entire canvas with fabric, but I leave a lot of that off now and fill that in with oil paint. So it's not as time consuming as you think. Some have many different changes in the paintings.
That's the other thing I was thinking
Oh my
about.
goodness, and there's one behind me that probably it took 10 years to transform. I'll go back and rework it, because some come together beautifully, like really quick.
Right.
Others are labor intensive, and I can't work out what's in the painting.
Do you work on just one at a time, or do you work on more than one at a time?
Because with oil paint, you're always waiting for something to dry. So maybe 4 different ones at a time,
Wow.
3. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of...
It's a lot of fabric?
a lot of fabric, a lot of manipulation.